All right, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about why you're probably monetizing incorrectly. If you're a creator who has a digital product, sell products online, most of you are monetizing incorrectly. And in this video, we're going to give 3 quick tips on how to fix it. If you stick around at the end, we're actually going to show you behind the scenes some really interesting data that we have that you are not going to want to miss, that shows why this is so powerful. So let's dive in. If you don't know who I am, my name is Matthew Rosenberg. I'm the CEO of Solin. We've done $11.2 million of digital product sales for creators over the past few years. And we've done that with no coaching calls, no sales calls. And I'm honest, we're still not perfect. We're always learning. And so that's what this video is about. It's about a new learning that we have recently had and what we've done to transform our digital product sales with these 3 quick tips. So without going any further, let's first dive into the current state of digital products, because it's super important to understand this before actually understanding what the fix is. So there's kind of 3 main buckets of digital products for creators. There's one-time purchases, there's subscriptions, and there's one-to-one coaching. And each of these has their problems. So one-time purchases, and that's where we started. That's where we were experts in with fitness challenges. But one-time purchases have their problems because they're one-time in nature, right? There's no recurring business out of that unless you create a recurring business out of it, right? So one-time purchases, though in nature, are non-recurring. 2, subscription revenue, oftentimes, subscriptions themselves oftentimes have poor conversion. So it's a lot harder to get somebody to subscribe to something, to put their credit card in for monthly payments, than it is to get somebody to buy something one time. So just think about it yourself. When's, the last time you bought something that was a one-time purchase? And how many times have you done that? Versus the last time that you bought something where you had to subscribe, right? People are subscribed to things that bring them tons and tons of value that they absolutely love, but people don't love to subscribe to hundreds of different things, right? So subscriptions are tough because poor conversion and also high churn, especially if you're dealing with fitness or one of those industries. Very high churn. So what that means is somebody comes in, they might subscribe for 1 month if they actually convert, or 2 months or 3 months, but it's hard to keep them for a really long time. So in a lot of instances, you might be better getting somebody to pay you $100 up front than $15, $20 a month, where they might turn off after a few months. And then 3, one-to-one coaching, which is super time consuming, right? So that's the problem with one-to-one coaching. It's time consuming. Obviously, if you could get $200, $300 a month from your clients forever without spending any time, that sounds amazing. Maybe it's even higher in some instances, but the problem with one-to-one coaching is that it's time consuming. And especially for creators, time is your most valuable asset. It's your most valuable resource, really for anybody, but especially creators, right? Because the more time you have, the more content you can create, the better content you can create, and the more people you can reach, which is really the lifeblood of your business. So what's the solution, right? Before we actually dive into the solution, I'm teasing it here. It's the ATM model, and I'll tell you what that means in a second. But before we do that, let's take a look at our business and how we actually came up with this. So we started running challenges 4 or 5 years ago. And we were not the person, we didn't invent challenges, but we were a little bit earlier than a lot of the other people. And the reason that we dove straight into challenges and really latched onto them is we had a creator who was an absolute rock star in the industry, in the fitness industry, about 5 years ago. And she launched a subscription on our platform. And I remember distinctly, she got 15 people to sign up for that at $20 a month. So $300 a month of recurring revenue, 15 times 20, $300 a month. And she launched a challenge, and she got over 700 people to pay her $20 one time. So 700 times 20 is 14,000 versus 15 times 20 is 300. $300 a month versus $14,000 one time. Which one would you prefer? I prefer the 14,000 one time because it's much better to get that $14,000 day one. And also, in order to make the 300 equal $14,000 over the long run, you'd have to, quick math, keep them for 42, 43 months, right? Actually a little bit more than that, but at least 40 plus months, right? So for her, seeing that and then seeing multiple other people have similar stories, we saw people doing insane numbers on challenges and not even able to get 20, 30 people to subscribe to their business. And So we realized the power of challenges as an acquisition engine, an acquisition funnel, right? Now, over the years, having run thousands of challenges on our platform, the problem with challenges, straight up, is that you get into like this launch grind mode. And so if you want to keep making money from challenges, you have to keep launching, right? You can make a lot of money on 1 or 2 or 4 challenges a year, but if you want to, if you want to make more money, each time you want to make more money, you have to launch another challenge. And so what we built first internally was tools to make it so that you could just rerun your challenges like that with very little effort. And that's awesome. But one additional thing you still have to do is you still have to promote it online if you want to make money. So we realized there's actually an even better model, and we call it the ATM model. And so here's our ATM framework, and I used ChatGPT to create this little handy dandy graphic for us. But there's 3 components of ATM: acquire, transform, and maximize, right? Acquiring, that's your challenge, right? Challenges are amazing because they are generally a little bit lower priced. I mean, you could do higher priced challenges for sure, but we recommend lower priced challenges. They have a start date and an end date, so there's fear of missing out, there's urgency, there's scarcity, and then they're fun and viral, right? Everybody wants to be a part of a challenge. They're exciting. There's usually a community, so they create great experiences. So think of challenges as your acquisition engine. After you've acquired users, right, and you can run 6, 8, 12 challenges over the course of the year. You can run a lot of them. You can just kind of repeat the same challenge or have a series of different challenges that you run at each stage of the year. That's your acquisition engine. Then you get to the transform phase. And think of transform like a little bit of an upsell, right? So this is where you're transforming a one-time buyer, somebody who buys one challenge, into a loyal customer, a VIP customer. So think of this as your $28 a month VIP product, almost like an Amazon Prime, right? Amazon Prime's a little bit cheaper than $28 a month, but you're a creator, you can charge a premium, you have a community, you've built an audience that loves you, right? So $28 a month VIP for access to different things, right? Perhaps you get lifetime access to all the challenges. So if you buy a challenge, you only get access to that for like the 6 or 8 of the 10 weeks that it's going on. If you're a VIP member, and you create like an upsell into a VIP, well, then you get lifetime access to that. Or maybe if you're using fitness as the example, you get access to your favorite high protein recipes. You get access to a community where you're a little bit more involved. Maybe you get access to once a month live Zoom calls and a video library, right? Of all those recordings. So this is where you're transforming, right? You're transforming your customer from a one-time buyer where you've gotten like a big acquisition, you have this big acquisition funnel. Now you have a certain amount of people that transform into that recurring buyer. And then you're maximizing, right? You want to maximize with a certain percentage of your people as well. And think of your maximize category as like the Amex Centurion Lounge or like an airport lounge that is very, very premium. Maybe you get 5% of your total customers into this bucket, but this is your group coaching, right? So instead of one-to-one coaching, think of this like group coaching where you maybe get, again, 5% of your customers in here, and they're paying you a much higher ticket. Maybe it's $197 a month for access to, maybe it's weekly Zoom calls, or maybe you have priority responses in the community, or they're getting, slightly more customization from you. So there's different things that you can do here. But ultimately, you want to get people into kind of these 3 different buckets, and you want to use your challenges as a way to acquire. So use your challenges as a way to acquire that lower ticket, then transform by getting people into kind of more of this VIP monthly membership, and then take a certain sub-segment of those people and the people that are like your most loyal customers and really maximize with them. Give them an opportunity to be a part of that inner circle, provide them even more value, even more help, and get them to pay a little bit higher of a price for that. So that's our ATM framework, right? The reason, and this is actually like an internal doc that you're one of the first to see it. We're still kind of working on the specific angle for this. But the reason that this is so important and why it's such a no-brainer is, 1, you can launch these challenges once, and then you can reuse them and repeat them and use them forever. 2, we say 3x your LTV, but it really can be a lot higher. LTV is your customer lifetime value, so you can increase your customer lifetime value substantially, and you can ultimately keep running your challenges while your membership compounds. 3, this makes it so that your paid ads or different ways of acquiring users can actually work, and that's what I'm going to show you in a second. And then 4, it just creates a much better lifestyle for you, right? Fewer one-to-one calls. If you were doing high ticket before, right, you have much more leverage group impact. And so this enables you to scale your time, scale your energy, ultimately, print money without burning out. So I want to show you really quickly some paid ads, a little paid ads analysis that we did for one of our partners. And I want to show you why this is so important and why the challenge model is so important. Because if you think about running something like paid ads, the ultimate goal of using paid ads is to acquire more people. And so this person right here in particular, this is, very early data, right? Very early data. We've only spent literally like $400 on $337 on this specific ad, or group of ads rather. And I'll show you what these numbers mean. But ultimately, what we've seen from spending $337 is we've seen 24 purchases. And these are the numbers directly from Meta. We've seen about 15% of people take an upsell. So we're doing a little upsell right after somebody buys this, lower priced program challenge. So 15% upsell. So on average, these people are spending $43.39 with us day one. And this is the amount of gross dollars to our partner. Then we take our fee. So net, they're keeping $29.07 and spending $14 to acquire each customer, right? So day one, they are printing $15 worth of profit, about 2x return on ad spend from day one. And so what's so powerful with this is that getting that money back day one means if you can scale the spend, you can literally spend, frankly, an infinite amount of money, right? Obviously, if anybody who's run paid ads knows that there's a ceiling, and one of the harder things to do is scale your ad spend. So, this works in theory, but in practice, you're going to hit scaling thresholds and you're going to have to maybe tweak some things and stuff. But in theory, right? If you're making 2x your money on day one, you can spend $100,000 in a month, generate $207,000 of sales, see $107,000 of profit, and literally just reinvest all of this money back in and spend $200,000 the next month and make $400,000 of profit, and so on and so forth. Now, that's exciting, right? That's just on your challenge. But now what if you can add those VIP monthly memberships or that inner circle, higher ticket upsell, and get your customer lifetime value to be much higher than just this $29, right? What if you could 3x this $29 and make it $87 over the course of the entire customer life? Well, now you're spending $100,000 on the front end. You're making $107,000 of profit day one. But over the next however many months it is, let's say, your customer lifetime is 24 months. If you're able to 3x your LTV, well, now you're making $521,000 of profit just from that $100,000 that you spent. So let's say we're talking, fun numbers here, but let's say you spend $100,000 a month and you're now generating over the course of 12 months, $6.2 million of profit. This is where it gets really exciting. So the amazing thing about this model, Acquire, Transform, Maximize, is that by using challenges as your acquisition funnel, you're able to acquire customers much more cheaply. It's much less effort to acquire those customers. People are much more excited about joining challenges. And so whether you're acquiring them organically, right, or in a paid capacity, it's much easier to get those people into your funnel and then find a way to increase the customer lifetime value by adding these upsells into like your VIP monthly membership or into more of like a higher ticket group coaching. What's super important when you do this? One of the things that's super important is making sure you have your system and your funnel set up. So you want to make it really easy for people to add on. You want to make sure that each of the incremental upsells that you're offering people is truly adding incremental value over what you're offering. So what do I mean by that? If you think about the model, right? With your challenge, you want to make sure that the challenge is offering something that's exciting for people and gets them in the door. But you don't want to offer everything. You want to create an opportunity for these new challengers to come into that monthly membership that does unlock something, right? Maybe it unlocks lifetime challenge replays, monthly Zooms, a 24/7 recipe vault, right? So that's really exciting. And then you want to make sure that your inner circle or that maximize step takes people to the next level. So maybe it's 2 live calls a month or 4 live calls a month, priority community access, exclusive programs, things like that. So it's very important to make it so that there's logical upsells, and it's very important to make it easy for people to upsell. So you want to make sure that inside of whatever system you're using, if you use a platform like Solin, we make this simple for you automatically. You can just do one-click upsells from your challenges into your monthly membership, into something even higher ticket. But whatever you're using, whether it's Solin or another platform, you want to make sure that you make it really easy for people to take that next step with you. So what's the key takeaway here? Challenges are an incredible business, but we've learned over the last 3 or 4 years that one of the most important things you can do with challenges is use them as that acquisition funnel, use them as that engine to get more customers in the door, but then find other ways to increase the monetization value of each customer over time. And so think of your challenges like your starter motor, and then plug them into your ATM and watch that kind of launch grind slip away and build a sustainable business with this model. Hope that's helpful. If you guys have any questions, comments, please drop them below. Don't forget to subscribe if you like this type of content. And if you would like to test out the Solin platform, we actually just released this really cool AI product generator that will allow you to create a challenge in literally 2 minutes. So you can create your first challenge in 2 minutes with Solin by checking out the link in the description below. All right, guys, we'll catch you at the next one. Be safe.